Ma'am, the nerve of you. I'm sorry. The nerve of you. You married him for his potential. You're a gold digger. You married him for his potential. You thought he would make more money. He lost his job. He still, with the money he was making, you got to stay home. But that wasn't enough. Let me guess. You wanted bags and a nice fancy car and probably a bigger house. And
Subject: I thought he'd work harder, but he filed for divorce first. Hi, true story. I was told about your channel by a friend who said I had to share what happened to me. At first, I rolled my eyes, but after binge watching about 10 of your videos in a row, I decided to stop being stubborn and just write. So here I am. This is probably not the kind of story your usual viewers expect. I'm not writing in as the woman who was cheated on. I'm writing as the woman who, honestly, walked away from a marriage because I didn't believe my husband could provide the kind of life I wanted anymore. I told him I wanted an open marriage or I was leaving. What I didn't expect was for him to actually file for divorce first. That man was quiet but full of surprises, I'll say that. Let me start from the beginning. Maybe someone out there will understand. Maybe someone will hate me, but I'm being honest now in a way I wasn't when I had the chance. Who I was before the marriage. I'm going to be real with you. I've always been drawn to successful men, and I'm not just talking about men with potential. I mean actual success. 6 figures minimum, some sort of clout or career status. I don't come from a poor family or anything, but my mom always told me it's just as easy to fall in love with a rich man as it is a broke one, so choose wisely. So that's how I lived. At 23, I was dating a retired NBA player. He was 48, divorced, and had 3 grown kids. The age difference didn't bother me. What did bother me was how controlling he was. That man would fly me out to his place on a whim, and I had to drop everything: school, friends, work, and just go. Even when I was on my period, no excuses. I was living in a luxury apartment because of him, getting spoiled like crazy. Handbags, shoes, trips, everything. But freedom, that cost more than he was willing to pay. Eventually, I cut it off. Not because I didn't like the lifestyle, but because I felt like I was living someone else's version of my life, marrying potential. Then I met him, my ex-husband. We'll call him Marcus. Marcus was the opposite of what I was used to. Quiet, humble, thoughtful. He wasn't flashy, but he had dreams. He was working in tech at the time, making decent money, and told me he had his eyes on a management position that could push him into a 6 figure bracket within 2 years. He had drive, and that's what drew me in. That, and he treated me like a queen. Not in a buy you a Birkin bag way, but in the wake up early to bring you breakfast kind of way. I felt safe with him. He proposed after a year, and I said yes. We got married in a beautiful fall ceremony with about 100 guests. I wore the dress of my dreams, and Marcus cried when he saw me walking down the aisle. That memory still hurts to this day. For the first year, things were good. We weren't rolling in money, but I stayed home. He encouraged it, said he wanted me to enjoy being a wife, that we'd talk about kids soon. I took care of the house, cooked, tried to be a loving partner. I genuinely believed that soon we'd be where we both wanted to be financially. Then year 2 hit, when it all fell apart. Marcus lost his job. Layoffs, company restructuring. He came home one day, walked in, and just said, "Babe, they let me go." My first reaction wasn't support. I wish I could say it was, but instead, I felt panic and honestly disgust. Like, here we go. I married potential, and this is what I get. I didn't say that out loud, but he felt it. The energy in our house shifted. At first, I tried to keep up the charade. I said, "It's okay, just apply to new roles. We'll be fine." But in the back of my mind, I was doing the math. We had savings, sure, but not comfort savings, not keep me in spa days and Whole Foods savings. And I wasn't trying to go back to working retail or answering phones. I was used to a certain lifestyle. He spent weeks looking for jobs, got interviews, got rejections. Then he stopped trying as hard, started getting up later, drinking more, sleeping more. I felt like I was watching the man I married disappear into someone I didn't sign up for. That's when I told him, either we open the marriage or I'm leaving. I was blunt about it. I said, I can't keep sitting here watching you spiral. I need to be with someone who can provide. You used to be that man. I'm not blaming you, but I'm not staying for this version of you. He didn't yell, didn't curse. He just looked at me and said, so that's what I'm worth to you? I didn't answer. I didn't expect him to do anything. I thought he'd break down, beg me to stay, hustle harder. But a week later, I was served divorce papers. That's when everything shifted for me. He sent me one last message before we stopped talking for good. It was a long email. I still have it. I'll include it here. Exactly as he wrote it. I wanted to write this because it's the only way I can truly express how I feel without interrupting or being interrupted. I'm not angry. I'm not trying to win you back. I just want to say a few things before we officially go our separate ways. Maybe you'll read this. Maybe you won't. But at least I'll know I tried to be honest with you, even when you couldn't do the same with me. When I met you, I knew you weren't like the women I usually dated. You had a glow, a confidence, a way of turning heads when you walked into a room. I felt lucky just to be next to you. And yes, I knew I wasn't making what some of your exes probably made. I wasn't a baller or a businessman, but I had plans, and I believed that love, real love, was about building together. I thought that's what we were doing. I worked hard every day to make sure you didn't have to, not because I thought you couldn't work, but because I wanted to give you something that felt safe. I wanted you to feel like someone finally had your back. I was proud to be your husband. Losing my job was the worst moment of my adult life, not just because of the money, but because I saw the way you looked at me change. You used to look at me like I was a king. After the layoff, I saw the disgust in your eyes. You barely touched me. You barely spoke to me unless it was to ask when I'd be working again. I spiraled. I'll admit that. I should have bounced back quicker, but I was grieving the loss of my own identity while also watching my marriage die in real time. Then you said the words, open marriage. I don't think you understand what that felt like. To have the woman I married say she wanted to sleep with other men because I wasn't bringing in enough money, it broke me. It confirmed every insecurity I ever had about being not enough. But I didn't yell. I didn't curse. Because deep down I knew something you didn't. I wasn't the problem. You never really saw me. You saw a version of me that existed in your head. One who could maybe one day give you the lifestyle you were used to. And when that fantasy broke, so did your loyalty. You say you married me for my potential. That's not love. That's investment. And when the market crashed, you pulled your shares and ran. I filed because I deserved better. Not someone richer or flashier. Just someone who wouldn't discard me the moment life got hard. I may not have 6 figures right now, but I have peace. And I'm in therapy now. For the first time in years, I'm not waking up feeling worthless. I don't hate you. I want you to find whatever it is you're really chasing. But I hope one day when you're done running toward dollar signs, you realize that what we had before it broke was real. You'll probably delete this or laugh at it. That's fine. But I needed to say it. Be good to yourself, T, and be good to the next man. Because if all you see is potential, you'll keep finding disappointment. Marcus. I cried when I read that, not because he was wrong, but because he was right. After I read Marcus's letter, I didn't reply. I wanted to. I even drafted something, but nothing I typed could match what he wrote, and honestly, I didn't know what to say. What do you say when someone tells you the truth you've been avoiding for years? I wasn't expecting to be served first. That was the real punch in the gut. I genuinely thought he'd try to prove himself to me. Hustle harder, Pick up a side gig, something, anything. Instead, he tapped out, quietly, respectfully, and with a level of peace I didn't think he was capable of. When the papers came, my first reaction was, okay, now what? The divorce process, a reality check. That's when I started doing the math. We'd been married just over 3 years. I'd been a stay-at-home wife the entire time. Never worked a job during the marriage. Never had a side hustle, no kids, no shared property, just memories. That's it. And I fully expected alimony. That was the plan. I had talked to a few friends, even posted in a couple of women's forums, and they all said the same thing. Girl, you'll get something. You sacrificed your career. You supported his dreams. You'll be compensated. But no, Marcus had quit his job. He told the court he was unemployed, in therapy, and focusing on his mental health. And I couldn't even be mad about it. That email, the one I shared, it was included in his filing as evidence of our breakdown. His lawyer painted a very clear picture. This was an unsupportive marriage. Her own words prove emotional abandonment and lack of commitment during hardship. I got nothing. No spousal support, no property division, no financial assistance. The judge signed off and said, best of luck to both parties. And just like that, I was on my own. Post-divorce life. A hard fall from comfort. I moved into a roommate situation 3 weeks after the final decree. A friend of mine had a spare room in her condo. Not ideal, but it was affordable. At first, I thought, okay, I'll just get something temporary, a little gig, then I'll figure it out. But let me tell you something that people who've been out of the workforce for a while don't say out loud. It is hard to get back in. Every interview I went to asked about my work history. I didn't have one. My last real job was 5 years ago as a front desk receptionist. The rest was managing a household, which doesn't exactly impress HR departments. So I did what I had to do. First job, retail. Folding jeans at a discount store, making $13.25 an hour. 8-hour shifts on my feet. Rude customers, coworkers half my age calling me ma'am. I wanted to cry every day that first month. Second job, Uber Eats. I borrowed a friend's car with insurance, made deliveries after my shifts and during weekends, burned out fast. That's the job that made me realize how spoiled I had been. I wasn't used to hustling like this. The NBA player, Marcus, they never let me hustle. Everything was just given. This was the first time in my adult life I had to grind, and it was ugly. I started questioning everything, not just my choices, but my values. Like, why did I marry Marcus? Why was I so quick to give up on him the moment money disappeared? Why didn't I try to contribute when he lost his job? I used to blame him. Now, I mostly blame myself. Social media lies and silent regrets. You know what's wild? On Instagram, people still think I'm living my best life. I post throwbacks from a trip to Tulum I took years ago. Write cute captions like Self-Care Sunday, and I still get DMs from people asking what I do for work. I lie. I say I consult. I say I'm in between projects. I don't post about clocking in at a call center now. I don't post about crying in the break room when I saw a girl walk in with the same handbag Marcus gave me on our first anniversary. I don't post the nights I skip dinner just to stretch my budget, but that's real life now, and no Instagram filter can hide it. My friends, most of them have pulled away. At first, they supported me. You'll bounce back, girl, you're strong. But the invites stopped. The check-ins dried up. You learn really quick who sticks around when you have nothing flashy to offer. How I really feel about Marcus now. Sometimes I wonder how Marcus is doing. I heard through a mutual friend that he's still in therapy, that he's picking up contract work here and there, but mostly staying under the radar. He hasn't dated anyone new, at least not publicly. I don't think he hates me. He's not that kind of man, but I know I hurt him. I know I broke something in him that might not ever fully heal, And here's what I'll admit now that I couldn't say then. He never raised his voice to me. He never made me feel unsafe. He never cheated, never lied, never made excuses. He showed up every day, even when he was struggling, and I walked away. Not because he mistreated me, but because he lost his job. That's something I have to live with. I thought I wanted an open relationship, but what I really wanted was an escape hatch from responsibility. I didn't want to carry the weight with him. I wanted to jump ship and land somewhere softer. And I did land, just not where I expected. What I've learned the hard way. This experience broke me in a lot of ways, but it also opened my eyes. I used to think men were either providers or placeholders. I used to think love without luxury was just struggle. But now I see it differently. Marcus was a provider, not just with money, but with stability, patience, and heart. And I threw all of that away for some fantasy life I couldn't even sustain on my own. If I could go back, I'd change everything. I'd go back to the night he came home, laid off, and I'd hold him. I'd say, "We'll figure it out." I'd get a part-time job. I'd stop worrying so much about appearances and Instagram likes and what my friends thought. But life doesn't work like that. You don't get a redo. You just get the echo of your choices playing back in your mind at 2 a.m. That's what I live with now. Final thoughts. I don't know what people will say about my story. I'm not writing this for sympathy. I don't deserve it. I'm writing because your channel is full of stories about men who've been betrayed. And here I am, someone who was on the other side of that betrayal. I betrayed Marcus, not with another man, but with my absence, my emotional abandonment, my unwillingness to ride the wave when life got rough. I'm 29 now, single, working 2 jobs, living in a shared apartment. The NBA player? He's married now to a woman younger than I was when he met me. Marcus? He's probably healing, probably doing better than me. I hope he is. And me? I'm still figuring it out. But if even one person hears my story and thinks twice before giving up on someone who's struggling, maybe that'll be worth it. Thanks for reading. Update. Hey again, it's T. So, remember how I ended that last email with a little self-awareness and humility? Yeah, well, life didn't let me sit with that for long. If I thought things were humbling then, oh girl, let me tell you about the absolute disrespect I'm dealing with now. Let's just say, buses don't have seat warmers, and nothing will remind you how far you've fallen, like trying to keep your makeup intact in 85-degree heat, wedged between a crying baby and a man who smells like hot dog water on the 35 route to the grocery store. But let me back up, because I've got an update. Enter another retired NBA player. So, I've been talking to someone new, a retired NBA player. Again, don't judge me. I know what I like. And no, I didn't seek him out. He slid into my DMs after I posted a bikini pic from 4 summers ago. Yes, I'm still working with old content, mind your business. He recognized the resort, said he stayed there a few times during off-season. We got to talking, and one thing led to another. Now, before you roll your eyes and call me desperate, understand this. I'm not just looking for a payday. I'm looking for peace. I'm tired. I'm tired of punching in and out of jobs where managers talk to you like you're replaceable. I'm tired of overdraft fees and waiting until Thursday just to get the 12.34 back in my checking account so I can buy laundry detergent. And yeah, I'm too damn gorgeous for this life. Period. So when he said he wanted to fly me out, I said yes. When he offered to send a car, I said yes. When he said you don't belong where you are, I felt that in my soul. Because he's right. Reality is ghetto. Let me paint a picture for you. My car, RIP, to that 2012 Altima, gave out on me 3 weeks ago. Just died in the middle of the parking lot after I got off my call center shift. I tried to crank it, nothing. Hood smoking like it was vaping. I sat there for 40 minutes trying not to cry because I knew I didn't have the money to fix it, let alone tow it. AAA said it would be $275 just to bring it to a shop. The shop quoted me nearly $1,400 to fix everything. And for what? For a car I don't even like driving. I left it there. Told them I'd think about it. Translation: I took an Uber home, then downloaded 3 bus apps and cried into my thrifted throw blanket like the dainty princess I used to be. That was the moment. That was the moment I decided, I don't care what anyone says, I'm not meant for this. I don't care if people call me a gold digger. I don't care if some man with a podcast says I'm not wife material. I deserve softness. I deserve to be adored. I deserve to have my bills paid and my car note handled and to never ever ride public transportation again. This new guy, let's call him D, he gets it. D feels like a way out. D is 47, divorced, played for a few teams back in the early 2000s. He's got a little limp now, knee injury, I think, but he still moves like a man who knows what he wants. He calls me queen, says my voice relaxes him, said I look like a fantasy he once had but never got to touch. I mean, phew. He's not controlling like the last NBA guy, but he does set expectations. He told me up front, if you're serious about letting me take care of you, I need consistency. I need respect. I need you to understand the lifestyle. I told him, baby, I am the lifestyle. He laughed, sent me $500 the next morning. No reason, just lunch and nails. Tell me why I cried over that $500. Not because of the amount, but because someone finally saw me again. Like really saw me. Do you know how good it feels to not have to ask? No. Can you help me cover this phone bill? No. Can I borrow until Friday? None of that. He just did it like it was nothing, and I didn't have to explain why I needed it. He just understood. It reminded me of who I used to be, of who I still am under all this exhaustion. I hate working. Let me say this with my full chest. I hate working. I don't mean I hate purpose. I don't mean I hate building something. I mean clocking in to someone else's schedule under fluorescent lights to answer calls from people yelling about bills they don't want to pay either. I mean being told when to take a break and how long I can eat my lunch. I mean being penalized for being 3 minutes late when the damn bus broke down at a red light. This is not the life God intended for a woman as soft and beautiful as me. You can say I sound entitled. That's fine. I am. And I'm okay with that. I've done my humble era. I've worn the discount flats that gave me blisters. I've waited in line at the food pantry because I was $84 short on rent. I've pretended to enjoy independence when all I wanted was to be someone's baby girl again. I'm done pretending. I want the soft life. The real soft life. The one where I wake up when my body says so, sip tea on a balcony, scroll through Get Ready With Me videos, and take a Pilates class before meeting my man for lunch at a rooftop spot. I want to light candles and keep my nails done, and never have to decide between conditioner or cereal again. And if it takes dating another former NBA player to get there, so be it. I'm not built for struggle. The truth is, I tried. I gave the working woman thing a shot. I took accountability. I wrote that long, self-aware email that you read last time. I cried in therapy. I journaled. I forgave myself. I even stopped blaming Marcus. But even after all that reflection, the bills kept coming. The city buses kept being late. My back still hurt from standing too long in cheap shoes. Reflection doesn't pay rent. Growth doesn't refill your gas tank. And healing doesn't stop your phone from vibrating with collection notices. So now I'm just being real with myself. I'm not built for this kind of struggle. I wasn't raised to be poor. I wasn't trained to be tired. I'm not the girl who thrives on grind culture. I'm the girl who's supposed to be pampered. I'm supposed to glide through life, not stumble through it, wearing knockoff lashes and dollar store lip gloss. What's next? D says he's flying me out in 2 weeks. Miami first, then maybe Cabo. He's been talking about wanting a companion he can invest in. I told him I'm ready. I really am. I'm ready to be poured into. I'm ready to be someone's piece, not just their placeholder. I'm ready to never touch public transportation again. And maybe some people won't like hearing that. Maybe they'll say, I didn't learn my lesson. But here's the truth. I did learn something. I learned that love without resources feels like responsibility. I learned that not all struggle builds character. Sometimes it just builds resentment. And I learned that if someone's offering you ease and you know deep down you were born for it, don't talk yourself out of it because of pride. I was wrong to give up on Marcus the way I did, but I was also wrong to think I had to stay in the mud to prove I'd changed. I'm allowed to want more, to want ease, to want luxury and soft mornings and 500 just because I'm beautiful and breathing. And if D is the man to make that happen, then yes, I will hold his hand in public and smile like I didn't just cry over my overdraft fee 2 nights ago. Final word. I know some people will read this and roll their eyes, say I'm delusional, say I'm chasing pipe dreams. But to those people, I say, you can keep your stress. You can keep your early morning alarms and your packed lunches and your 45-minute commute just to earn 100 after taxes. I'm done surviving. I want to live. I want to be draped in silk, not stress. And if I have to remind myself every day that I'm too damn gorgeous to be tired, then so be it. This is T, signing off for now. But the next time you hear from me, I'll be poolside with a drink in my hand, smiling like I never knew the words utility bill existed. Sincerely.
Go on vacations. Like, nobody has time for that. Men out there, if you're meeting women, if you guys are still dating, you're meeting a woman, she's telling you, I want to have this, that. She needs to be able to provide it for herself. Forget about it. That's not what you get into a relationship for. You don't get into a relationship to go on vacation just to show everybody on social media. You don't get into a relationship just to buy a big old house that you don't need. What's the point? You guys know there are people living in freaking tiny homes, happy as ever, with no bills. They are so happy. Guys, don't let them, because only thing that's going to happen is this situation. You lose that stuff, she's gone. It's not love. She doesn't care about you. She cares about your money. Look at her, looking for an NBA player, looking for a retired one, somebody who has money that just gives her money for no reason. I hate working. I'm a princess. Stop. Ridiculous. Guys, let me know what you think about this in the comments. I'm going to catch you guys at the next one.